Okay, boxing fans, right now we're going to talk about Amir Khan versus Louis Collazo. This is actually going to be the best and probably only competitive fight of the evening. You know, on two sides of this fight. On one side you've got Amir Khan, a very speedy fighter, has some decent skill, likes to put his combinations together. He gets a bit greedy sometimes actually putting his shots together and stays there a little bit too long, and obviously is not the most durable of characters. On the opposite side is Louis Collazo. He's got decent hand speed. He also likes to put his shots together, his combinations together, but he's past his best, and also he can be hurt, as you may have seen in a number of his fights. Now, it pains me to say this, but the winner of this match will probably be fighting Floyd Mayweather next. I'm going to bring in a few of the guys, and I'm going to start this time with Paul. So, Paulie Mac 94, how are you doing, pal? And I want to know, do you like this fight, and who have you picked in this fight?
Yeah, I like this fight a fair bit. Collazo's coming off that big win over Victor Ortiz, so his stock's quite high right now. We've seen that he can knock out fighters, and Amir Khan's certainly a fighter who could be knocked out. So I wouldn't quite say the fight's 50-50, but I'd definitely say it's a competitive fight, and definitely a fight I'll want to watch. Who do I like in the fight? Immediately, you know what? I'm leaning towards Collazo, And I'm not just saying that because you get a lot of people say, oh, you're an Amir Khan hater, you want to see Amir Khan get knocked out, you're hoping he gets knocked out. That's not the case. It's just that I think Amir Khan, I do agree that his best days behind him. I know he's only 26, but I honestly think since leaving Freddie Roach, he's only got worse as a fighter. He's had 2 fights since then against not very good opponents, and he's looked mediocre in one and then looked absolutely shocking in the second one. So Amir Khan's going to have to put on a really, really big performance if he's going to convince me to get back on the bandwagon, and I don't see it personally. I think Collazo.
Okay, but do you think Collazo's got the power to put Khan away?
Well, why not? He put Victor Ortiz away. Victor Ortiz was chinny. Amir Khan's chinny. I don't see why he can't knock him out. Amir Khan's going to give him opportunities because he does in every single fight. He doesn't make it hard for his opponents to hurt him. So if Collazo can time a punch right, or he can drag Amir Khan into a real war, like we often see Khan get dragged into, I think he could definitely give Amir Khan a really rough night.
Very possible. Both fighters have been talking about their possible fights with Mayweather in the future. Do you reckon both opponents are underestimating each other?
Yeah, there's a case for that. Amir Khan, we know it's an obsession with Floyd Mayweather, isn't it? For him, he talks about Floyd Mayweather as if Floyd Mayweather's the girl of his dreams. Brings him up in every single interview I've ever watched with him. Talks about how he's destined to fight him. He really needs to just let that go. If the Mayweather fight happens for him, it happens. But he needs to stop just trying to define his whole career on if he fights Mayweather or not. Collazo, he wants to fight Mayweather for the payday, I believe. Khan wants to fight him because I think Khan genuinely thinks he could win. Collazo is at the stage in his career now where I'm not sure how old he is. Is he in his mid-30s or whatever? Yeah. He's been around a while, and he's only now getting a couple of paydays after he was out in the wilderness for a while. So I think he just wants the payday, and I think Khan would really like to fight Khan. Khan would really like to fight Mayweather for the opportunity.
Where do you see the winner and loser going from here?
Probably to fight Mayweather, to be honest. I wouldn't say the winner deserves to fight Mayweather, but Mayweather's running out of opponents. And if he's willing to pick Marcus Maidana for beating Adrian Broner, then I certainly can see him picking the winner of this fight, because Mayweather just needs a dance partner now. He needs someone to sell the pay-per-view with, and I definitely could see him just spinning the line and saying, oh, that guy's coming off a great win, I'll go fight him, and fight Amir Khan if he wins. If Khan loses, then I think he'll probably come back to Britain and fight Kell Brook. And if Collazo loses, maybe he might call it a day.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. I'm just going to leave you on hold for a minute, and we're going to bring in our next guest, which is Brian Murphy. So, you okay, Brian? You with us, yeah?
I sure am.
That's very good. So, the first question I've got for you is: do you like this fight? And who do you pick in this fight?
I like this fight. I like it a lot. Interesting. I have a few things to say about this one. I like Amir Khan. I actually I like him as a person. I like his style. I love his hand speed. It's really exciting. He can be explosive. He's very forward moving, very offensive minded. Collazo, here's the thing. I don't like Victor Ortiz. I've just never, or when he first started out, he was a buzzsaw and, very, again, forward moving and offensive minded himself. But he looked horrible in his last fight, man. And I knew he was going to get knocked out after the first round, or during the first round, or within the first minute of the first round. I knew Victor Ortiz was going to get knocked out because he looked extremely unprepared. I mean, he looked about as unprepared as I've seen from a fighter that's supposed to be elite. And I knew he was going down. So I don't know how much that says about Collazo. I mean, or it just says Victor Ortiz just is completely out of it now. I'm going to go with Amir Khan, just because I think he's that hand speed, I think, is going to give him the advantage.
A lot of people think that Amir Khan's going to lose this fight, or a lot of people I spoke to seem to think he's going to lose this fight anyway. Does Collazo have the power to put Khan away?
Yeah. Certainly, I mean, because it's Khan. I mean, I guess any boxer has the power. If you're at that level, has the power to knock you out. But particularly Khan, because he has there's a notorious reputation for having a weak chin, which he does. And I think, and not only does he have a weak chin, but because he is so offensive minded. I just watched actually the Danny Garcia fight earlier today, and he leaves himself open, and because he leaves himself open. He's susceptible to getting hit, but not only is he susceptible to getting hit, but he can't take a hit that well. So I think it's a possibility, sure, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the case. What do you think about both fighters talking about a possible fight with Mayweather? Do you reckon they're both overlooking each other?
both fighters facing Mayweather. The reality is this. I think it's possible Mayweather could just straight up lie. And if Amir Khan wins this fight, I think he could just easily choose somebody else that he feels more comfortable with. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day who has a pretty good boxing mind. And for Floyd Mayweather, it's all about risk reward, and he may, not that Amir Khan could beat him, but just any risk. And Floyd Mayweather is very serious about protecting his zero. And I think that even if he wins, he still may not give him a shot. To be honest with you, I think he'll come up with some. We know that Floyd is good at coming up with BS excuses for not fighting someone, so he could easily do that for Amir Khan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that may be the case. So, if that's the case, where do you think both fighters will go from there?
If Amir Khan loses, this will definitely, I think, take him out of the ranking of elite A-level fighters. He's just struggled too much in the past few years against people that he really needed to be amongst the elite. Collazo, I don't know exactly how old he is, but I know he's a little bit older. It may lead him to, I don't know about retirement. I don't know if he's quite that old. But I think he'll be definitely in a rebuilding phase and kind of facing B-level fighters. Definitely, I won't see him fighting anybody or any belt contentions or anything like that whatsoever for either of them for a long time. I don't see it at all.
Yeah, for the record, for anyone who doesn't know, Collazo is actually 33 years old. He's definitely at the tail end of his career, if you didn't know. But that's all we need from you for now, Brian. I'm just going to put you on hold for a few minutes, and we're going to get in no holds barred boxing. So, Ryan, you there? Yeah, you're not fell asleep?
Yep. No, I'm here.
That's good. That's what I'm talking about. Who do you like in this fight, Ryan?
Well, first of all, I think it's a really good fight, like all of you have said so far. I think it's a really competitive fight. I think it probably is around 50-50, or at least sort of 55-45 to Khan. I don't know who's going to win it, really, but I know that it's either going to be Khan on points or Collazo by knockout. I think that's pretty much certain. Either Khan's hand speed is going to be too much, his combos, his movement, and all of those things are going to be too much, and Collazo's not going to be able to track him down the way that Maidana did, because Collazo isn't exactly that sort of fighter the way that Maidana is. Maidana's more of a pressure fighter, a brawler, a headhunter, whereas Collazo is more of a boxer puncher. So I don't think Collazo is going to be chasing Khan down for the whole night. So that might not be a problem, but what will be a problem, of course, is Khan's chin, and if Collazo can pinpoint, can time a counter punch to perfection, then Khan is probably going to be out, as soon as it lands. So I think either Amir Khan wins a really, really tough decision, it could be something like a split decision or a close unanimous, or Collazo sparks him out in like the mid rounds or something when Khan gets sloppy. And I think both of those predictions have equal sort of weight behind them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you think Collazo definitely has the power to put Khan away?
Yeah, because even if he didn't have the power, he would still have the power because Khan's chin is really terrible. So, I think that Collazo might not have many knockouts on his record. He might only have like a sort of 50% KO ratio, but he did stop Victor Ortiz in his last fight. He has stopped, half a dozen fighters in the last few years. They might not be, world-class caliber, but by the same token, Amir Khan doesn't have a world-class chin. And if there's one thing we know about boxing, if you don't have a good chin, you usually don't go very far. So Amir Khan has done brilliantly with what he's got, because considering how weak his chin certainly seems to be, he's won multiple world titles. He's been an elite fighter for years. So and one of his only few losses was against Lamont Peterson, which he clearly didn't lose. So he's done brilliantly with what he's got. But if Luis Collazo wins, that's 5 wins on the trot. He would have defended his WBA international title, which suggests that a WBA world title shot is probably on the cards. So he's going to look at this and think, if I beat Amir Khan, I've either got a WBA shot or a WBC shot in my next fight. So Collazo is going to be well up for this fight. So in that case, you could almost make a case that Collazo is probably the one without anything to lose in this fight, which will make him a dangerous fighter on the night.
Yeah, I guess so. So you don't think either fighter is overlooking each other?
Do I think either fighter is overlooking the other?
Yeah.
Did you say?
Yeah.
Well, I think they've probably both prepared perfectly for it. I think Amir Khan probably knows that Collazo is going to come in all guns a blazing, and he probably realises, he's just beaten Victor Ortiz, who for years has been one of the top guys at welterweight. He's got his detractors, and he's obviously got flaws, but Victor Ortiz has been one of the top names at welterweight for a long time now, despite being quite young still. So I think Amir Khan, if Amir Khan hasn't prepared properly, then stick your money on Collazo to win by knockout. But I think Collazo would have definitely prepared properly for this one, because he'll know that this is his last shot at winning a genuine world title, because the winner of this will probably fight Floyd Mayweather, as been pointed out, and anybody would love to be in that fight.
Mm-hmm. So where do you see the winner going from here? Against Floyd Mayweather?
Well, the winner would definitely chase Floyd Mayweather, because this fight is for the silver WBC title, so that's their interim belt, and it's for the WBA international, title, which means that's also close to a WBA shot, which means, and Mayweather holds both of those titles, so they'll definitely be aiming for the winner of Mayweather-Maidana. I'm not sure if Collazo gets that. Khan will definitely get it. Khan will be fighting Floyd Mayweather if he wins. But I'm not sure if Collazo will, because I don't even think Floyd Mayweather could sell that fight. And at the end of the day, it's all about the money for Floyd Mayweather. He's made it very clear his entire career, or at least in the last half a dozen years, that he's all about the money. Money pays the bills, as he says. Money Mayweather, team money, whatever he wants to call himself. He's all about the money. He's not about the record. He's not about the fighting the best available candidates. He's about selling huge pay-per-view figures. And Amir Khan can do that because he's got a following. Collazo can't do that. So if Collazo wins, as unfortunate as it is, he won't get Mayweather, but Khan certainly will.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just going to shove you on hold for a second, and I'm just going to run through quickly how I see the fight going. You see, for me, I actually instead favour Amir Khan, because, you see, he actually fights a lot better against southpaws than he does fighting orthodox fighters, and I think that's due to the amount of sparring he used to do against the number one southpaw in the world, Manny Pacquiao, when he's with Freddie Roach. Collazo, on the other hand, is definitely on an Indian summer in his career. 33 years old, coming off of his best win in about 8 to 10 years, right? But that guy wasn't interested, like Brian said. He didn't look interested. It's a good victory, but people overrating it. I think people aren't giving Josecito Lopez the same credit that they're giving Collazo. That's where I'm a bit. Are they giving him the same credit? I don't know. So. Back when I interviewed Luis Collazo, he said he actually fights better against southpaws, and it's true because he's actually stopped the last two southpaws he's fought, in Ortiz and some other guy, I can't remember who it was, but the last two orthodox fighters he's fought, he took them the distance. So the likelihood is he's going to go the distance with Amir Khan, because Khan is orthodox. The other thing that I'm looking at is, Khan's been inactive in the ring, but he's been in the gym, and maybe the break will help him. So I'm going to go with Amir Khan by points, but really it's a 50-50 fight, and it's actually the best fight on